44 countries rejected a universal return to the gold standard. Their agreement allowed only the world's most powerful currency, the dollar, to be tied to gold. America held 75% of the world's gold reserves at Fort Knox. This was to be the foundation of the global economy. American gold secured the dollar's value. Other currencies would fluctuate around it. The United States was acting as the world's banker. The dollar was a kind of universal currency. The US government had to run its economy sensibly to keep the rest of the world stable. Gold was the guarantee. Paul Volcker later became chairman of the Federal Reserve, the man in charge of the dollar.
The fixed price of gold was central to the framework of the system. The United States considered itself the guardian, really, of the fixed price for gold. Other currencies were linked to the dollar. They were only indirectly linked to gold through the dollar, but there was a special responsibility for the United States to maintain the stability of its own currency and its stability in terms of gold, and that conviction was very strongly held in the Treasury Department.
And the system seemed to work. The post-war years saw a boom, not a depression. Gold was no longer seen as the answer to everything. Its role was limited in a modern economic order. But by the late 1960s, American prosperity was beginning to bring its own problems. The boom years brought inflation. Prices were rising at unacceptable rates. This made life difficult for the government. The dollar was tied to gold. Room for maneuver was limited. In 1971, the crisis got worse. The president had to do something. Richard Nixon was aware of Britain's problems in the 1920s, caused by clinging on to the gold standard. He decided to take America off the standard. Under conditions of great secrecy, he prepared to address the nation over the airwaves.
America today has the best opportunity in this century to achieve two of its greatest ideals, to bring about a full generation of peace and to create a new prosperity without war.
I had been asked to write the speech for him. On Thursday or so before, I wrote what I considered a very quick draft of a rather traditional kind of mea culpa speech, that we are going to be more disciplined, we're going to restore stability.
We must create more and better jobs. We must stop the rise in the cost of living. We must protect the dollar from the attacks of international money speculators.
Now that's got entirely changed into a speech of triumph.
There is no longer any need for the United States to compete with one hand tied behind her back.
We were freeing the United States from the strictures of the old system, the old Bretton Woods system, and that was good for the American economy, good for the United States, eventually be good for the world.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to defend the dollar against the speculators, to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
Nixon had cut the last official link between money and gold. The dollar was on its own, and so was gold.
Right, we're going to start today at 3:47.
Every day in the world's financial centers, bankers try to set a price for gold. It's known as the fix.
Sorry to Stella, getting big ones to buy. I've got one for 166.30 at 35.
But even this is a voluntary system, designed to make gold transactions smoother. In reality, gold is just another commodity to be traded like crude oil or coffee. Anyone can buy and sell gold at whatever price they can agree. It can go up and it can go down. In times of crisis and uncertainty, the price tends to rise. But most importantly, when Nixon broke the link between money and gold, the world didn't end.
The economy grew, prices came down, there was a lot of unhappiness about price controls and other things, but the economy certainly did well afterwards, and he had a great election victory.